McGregor syndrome, I'm going to say, is not a real disease.
That's not
right?
a real disease.
Okay, good. I thought it was made up because it made me think of like Peter Rabbit with Farmer McGregor.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
yeah.
that's from Peter Rabbit. That's not real, but it's from Batman, apparently.
That would have been a good one, too.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Josh Owen. As the owner of a video marketing company in New Orleans, I've been on the quest to learn everything I can about marketing. Everyone has a different style, different strategy, and a different experience. Is there a wrong way to do it? A right way to do it? Let's find out together as we make marketing make sense. Welcome everybody back to Make Marketing Make Sense. I'm here with the fabulous Jason Otis of LCMC Health, and you are the creative, but not just any kind of creative, senior creative director at LCMC.
That's right.
And tell me, we're here to talk about the understanding, your brand within this diverse culture of New Orleans, How have you guys dealt with that at LCMC Health?
So when you say understanding your brand within the diverse culture of New Orleans, I think at LCMC Health we have the privilege of really representing the diverse culture of New Orleans. We're a health system of 9 hospitals across the greater New Orleans area, and including a staff that numbers over 12,000, right?
Wow.
So we don't need to work too hard to represent the diverse culture of New Orleans because we are that, know. We everybody that works at LCMC Health, if you look at us collectively, we are New Orleans, right?
That's awesome.
So, I think that your brand should be a reflection of who you are always.
Yeah.
And so, looking at it from that perspective, it's not hard for us to represent the authentic cultural diversity of New Orleans because we're just representing who we are.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's a great way to look at it. And I think when you just are authentically yourselves, what do you, being in the industry for so long as a creative mind, what are some of the core elements that you would say make up a strong brand?
I think it goes to, the cart can't pull the horse, right? So, in order for your brand to be a great brand that people love, you first have to be a great organization, product, service, whatever it is. You have to be a great one, because the worst thing that you can do is make an advertising campaign, draw people in, then have them show up, and the actual experience doesn't match what you presented, in your campaign. So to me, I think that's the first step to creating a great brand is first being great.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Be great, and then create an advertising campaign that accurately reflects what you are.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's, always like the first step, and you build that. But then, of course, there's other hospital networks out there. There's other competitors out there. Like, what do you do, to establish, take that foothold of your brand and really say, like, no, but we're better, we're different, come to us. Like, what do you do there?
I think that, so, when I say be great and then create an advertising campaign that reflects your greatness, you can think you're great, right? But does your audience, does your customer think you're great? So I think, it's always important to put yourself in the shoes of your target audience. And experience your brand from their perspective. And that, that could mean, what is it called? Like ghost shopping, or when you go, it's not ghost, what is it? It's
window shopping.
Window shop? No, it's not window shopping. It's like
secret shopping.
Secret shopping. It's like sort of like secret shopping where like maybe you go in and you try to experience, have the authentic experience in the shoes of your customer.
Yeah.
Or it could just be like focus group testing, seeing how people really feel about you, quant testing, where you're gauging perceptions of your brand from a macro point of view, really understanding how people see you, not just how you see yourself or how you think people see yourself, but like really, making a great effort towards empathy.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in the shoes of your customer, to see how they see you,
Right.
and then creating a campaign that sort of reflects those truths.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I know you personally have gone through the gauntlet of different, obviously now at LCMC, understanding your audience is so key. And we always say that. And there, at LCMC Health, you're really, going deep into all these different focus group testing, elements and stuff like that. But for a lot of businesses out there, they may not have that kind of resource for their business.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the like down to earth, more like, smaller scale levels of doing similar things of getting to know your audience that you suggest for people to improve their brand?
Yeah, I don't. I think maybe like social listening is a good tactic to just kind of get out there and be a fly on the wall, the fly on the wall of
Yeah.
Instagram, of Twitter, and just kind of see how people are talking about your brand. If you have that even if you have that kind of activity, um, I would, I don't know, I would ask friends, associates,
Mm.
their honest perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say however you can do it, getting a good gauge on how people
Mm.
perceive your brand and how people perceive your business is critical.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I think, when you're talking about too with LCMC Health, you all have obviously been going through it right now, trying to constantly improve and enhance what you do. What have been some of the challenges that you've been working towards with, your current efforts towards building? Because like you are, while you've been around, I think now is where we're really starting to see more of those LCMC signs everywhere. Like, what are
Yeah.
some of the challenges that you're facing as you're constantly pushing out more?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the challenges are pretty unique to our situation. I think, we're a health system that's comprised of long-standing, generational New Orleans brands, Children's Hospital's been around a long time, and people had their own
Right.
perceptions about Children's Hospital. Turo's been around since before the Civil War.
Mm.
Um, Turo was the place babies came from for generations and
Right.
generations of
Right.
babies. And East East Jefferson General Hospital has been serving
Mm.
generations of Metairie
Right.
and Kenner families. West Jeff, same thing on the West Bank.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got these very different entities that are now part of a system.
Mm.
So I think the challenge there is that, you're dealing with lots of little brands that people had different thoughts of and
Mm.
that have been doing things their own way and have had their own brand voice. So the big challenge for LCMC Health has been how do we coalesce all these things
Right.
and not paint over what are some really cool things about these individual brands,
Right.
um, and and also how do we help people know what LCMC Health is, because to this day, even though LCMC Health has been around for years, a lot of people aren't exactly sure what we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, or like what all the capabilities are and all of that. It's kind of like on this layer of knowing, okay, well, we have, so much to offer, and how do we get every bit of that out there, and how do we get it cohesive and consistent to people
Mm-hmm.
to know that that's their first choice? And
Yeah.
that's, I think, a lot of people in the medical field, struggle with. And it's like, is there currently things that or strategies that you have currently in place that you're going to start implementing to really tackle that?
I think I think a lot of it goes to brand voice. I think it goes back to listening to our customers, and I call them customers out of habit. They're patients.
Mm-hmm.
They're just people. They're ourselves too. We're our
Yeah.
own customers. When I go to the doctor, I go to an LCMC Health doctor.
Right.
So I think it's kind of understanding how they view us, and what we've learned is that what they like about us is, I think, a lot about what people like about New Orleans, going back to that accurate
Mm.
representation of the local culture.
Mm-hmm.
I think when people come to New Orleans as visitors, for example, and they meet New Orleanians, what they love about us is how warm we are and how
Mm.
welcoming and how, inclusive we
Right.
are.
Definitely.
And we were hearing the same things about when people would visit our clinics and hospitals.
Mm.
They would say that the warmth of
Mm.
of the nurses and doctors and the people doing intake, and how they talk to them like they were friends and family.
Right.
And we want our marketing, we want our brand to reflect that.
Definitely.
So that's that can incorporate everything from the selection of photography.
Yeah.
A lot of medical brands are very conservative and traditional, and you might see a doctor in a white coat, gazing sternly at the camera. You're never going to see that in an LCMC Health ad. You're going to see happy people.
Right.
Even some of our terminology, for example, cardiovascular care. You won't see that term.
Right.
In an LCMC Health hospital. It's heart care. It's the way you won't see oncology, you'll see cancer care. It's the way that people talk, like you would talk to your friend, and that's kind of what we want our brand to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I think, putting that friendly face forward is so important. And, for a lot of people, we almost forget that. Sometimes it's like just putting on a smile can go a long way.
Yeah.
And enhancing that. And, the last thing I'll ask here is, you've been in the industry for a while doing various, creative, endeavors. But, thinking back to when you first started, and knowing what you know now, like, what would you say to your earlier self about, different creative, like, how would you approach things differently in some of your earlier work compared to what you do now?
I think that I would probably be less of a perfectionist. Early on when I came up as a copywriter, and when you're working on a campaign as a copywriter, at least when I was working on a campaign as a copywriter, I felt like I was the guardian of the concept. And if anybody had an addition to it, an idea, I would think that it was a terrible idea.
Oh, no, yeah.
And that they were destroying it.
Yeah.
And what I've learned over the years is that this is a collaborative industry,
Right.
and that there's no one path to good.
Right.
There's lots of paths.
Yeah.
And usually, if you evaluate, if you're working with good people, and usually you are, and you evaluate objectively the idea or the addition that somebody's adding to your work, you can see that it's probably a good idea. So I would say, like, if I were talking to my younger self, I would say be more collaborative.
Yeah, because that's the name of the game right here. As far as like diversity is all about inclusion, and that's inclusion not just in the workplace but in ideas.
Yeah.
And that's what you're there bringing to LCMC, which I think is fantastic. And I think your younger self would hopefully hear that and bring that to where you are today, which is where you are. So that's fantastic. So awesome. Well, I think that's a great place for us to like go into our special segment. So I'll get my phone out here. So we have a special segment where in this segment is called Will It Make You Sick? So what this is, since you work at LCMC, now it's time to rep that.
Okay.
And what we're going to ask you about is whether or not these following things are diseases. Are they real diseases or are they fake diseases?
Oh, gosh.
So I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
For the first one that we have up here is McGregor's syndrome.
McGregor's syndrome, I'm going to say, is not a real disease.
Okay, nice. That's not
right?
a real disease.
Okay, good.
Hold up one second. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up because I don't have it listed. So McGregor's syndrome is from the Batman and Superman movie.
Oh.
So that's what, I don't know if you remember Mr. Freeze, his wife had that disease.
Well, I haven't seen that movie, but I didn't know that.
Well, now, so that's a little bit of trivia you can take home, and share on maybe one April Fool's next.
I thought it was
year
made
on
up because it
LCMC.
made me think of, like, was it like Peter Rabbit with Farmer McGregor?
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
yeah.
that's from Peter Rabbit. That's not real, but it's from Batman, apparently.
That would have been a good one too.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah, that's real.
That's a real disease.
Yeah, that's where you, like, is it the one where if you're caring for somebody with an illness, you get the
think you
symptoms
have
of
an illness.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an illness about fake illnesses.
Yeah,
So,
right.
all right, I threw
Yeah.
that curveball in there, but you got the illness on fake illnesses. So there you go.
Right on.
The next one is simian flu.
Simian flu. Well, I know that simian is a word that is related to like monkeys or something. I've never heard of there being a monkey flu, so I'm going to say not real.
Oh, he got it again. 3 for 3.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about. So that one is from Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
so
is it? And it's called simian flu? So it sounds kind of like avian flu for birds.
Exactly.
But it's
so
like
it's like a little,
yeah.
it's on the edge, so it could be, it seems like it's something. The next one is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
Well, that's ALS. So that's a real
man,
one.
he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
okay. We can't fool. This is your. It's a true testament that you know your healthcare system because you got all those.
I
right.
guess so, and I'm, and I know so little, but I guess you
or
just
you're a
asked me
good
the right
guesser, I
question.
guess. Yeah, that's
what it is.
fantastic. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jason. And let me know, let everybody know where they can find anything like yourself or LCMC Health on social and on the web.
Yeah, I'm not very active on social media, but LCMC Health for sure. At LCMC Health on all the platforms, and we'd love to see you there. That'd be great.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
you heard it here first, folks. Get on down to LCMC Health. If something ails you, go on down to LCMC Health. Thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode, Jason. It's
been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. This has been another great edition of Make Marketing Make Sense. Peace, y'all. This has been Make Marketing Make Sense, brought to you by Comfystone. If you need video content for social media, your website, or email marketing, hit up Comfystone at comfystone.com and follow Comfystone on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.